being global citizens.
Yeah, it's very
We'll
important.
call
Yeah.
India as our base going forward and keep coming back and forth to US as long as we have the strength and the wherewithal to
And have all the health.
help, health, and finances to
Yeah.
back us up by God's grace. That is the plan, and hopefully we'll be successful. And having said that, we have been doing a lot of international travels too. That will continue to happen.
Yeah. Just curious, I think so. You have started the journey again in New York. Seems like Atreya joined within, pretty quickly, pretty soon.
Yeah.
So how has the life been? And do you have any considerations to be like a global citizen, like, moving back or settling here, or how things, there was reasons to move back, and again, I think for different reasons to come back again to US. And now I think it's been about close to 10 years. So how the life has been, and anything spurting in your mind about
Oh, yes.
going to another country or coming back to India, and so why and what's going on there?
Wonderful question there, Ravinash. To be very frank, yes, we are now
No,
one.
you should start from Judge.
I know,
I
I know. I'm already there.
I know.
So I'm a little, what do you call, a character who would, what do you call, want to keep switching and then enjoy all sides of the world. So yes, to answer your question, we call ourselves today a global citizens. The heart still lies with our motherland, though my US passport, though my passport says I'm a US citizen, I'm both an US citizen and an Indian, both by my heart, because this is our karma bhumi in the US.
One is Janma Bhumi and the other one
The
is
other one is
Karma Bhumi.
Janma Bhumi back in
Yeah.
India. To answer your question, yes, 10 years, fabulous, beautiful. This next 10 years in America has been superb because we have probably become more seasoned now. We understand both the Indian side or the US side much better. And within no time, we moved out of our apartment to buying another house there and enjoyed the New Jersey life. There again, as we were mentioning earlier, every 7 years, we have almost, whether it is Rangan was mentioning earlier, whether by situation or by plan or by design, we have moved. We are a little crazy in that respect. Not many people would be as adventurous as we are. It so happened that
It's called the 7-year itch.
7 year itch. So while we were in New Jersey enjoying all the fantastic, because today America is another India, to be very frank, with all the luxury plus you don't miss India much when it comes to whether beautiful temples, great food, fantastic people whom we can connect, whether it is an American, a white, or an African American, or an Indian, we can connect very well. All of us understand our style of living or our interest or the culture. So, which was not the case when we first came to America, but the second time around, it became much easier. Even we were comfortable uh, dealing with or understanding the local sport hand in hand with cricket being another religion which we follow. So we continue to follow that. And it so happened that like Atreya successfully finished his undergrad while Aryan is enjoying the schooling, doing very well uh, there in New Jersey. And Atreya got a chance to join General Motors during his campus interview in Michigan.
Yeah.
So he moved here. We dropped him, moved here within matter of, I think, probably a year or two. He bought a house here in Michigan.
Yeah.
And obviously, for housewarming, he invited us here. We fell in love with.
Prior to that, I think he met
Shreya.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay,
Tell that
on
story.
that, we were talking about his language skills, about Adria struggling hard with Hindi being his third language. Can you imagine? He joined General Motors and enrolled into master's program simultaneously at Ann Arbor here in Michigan.
Yeah.
And there are ways and means, or rather, actually, there is a reason you go to school, right? You get certificate, but in this case, he got his degree in the form of finding a beautiful girl called Shreya while he was in master's, whereas she was finishing her undergrad there.
In Ann Arbor. Yeah.
And again, the bumble, the strike right kind of thing happened. That is another story which, when he needs to talk, he will talk. I'll not take his listen, but he bumped into this fantastic kid called Shreya. They are originally from Delhi, Bihar, but she was born, bred, raised here in Michigan. Her entire family, the last 3 decades, they're here in
Okay.
Michigan. And can you imagine? He met a beautiful Hindi-speaking
Hindi
girl,
speaking girl.
and today he can manage. I won't call him as a proficient in Hindi, but he can manage when it comes to Hindi songs. Thanks to her, whether it
Yeah.
is Kishore Kumar, Mohammed Rafi songs, he can beautifully hum very well with all the perfect pronunciation, and also understand what Shreya talks when she talks to her parents, so she can't keep
But
the
also
secret.
music has been very, yeah, music is something which has been, I think, an integral part of our overall family. I think that's something which has been there. Learned Carnatic music for quite some time. And we, as Nagesh says, we always hum music, be it any Tamil song, Kannada song or Hindi or anything. And the children kind of, even though they are not like totally hardcore and are not grown up there, but they can kind of, say, oh, okay, mommy, there's something which will hum with you.
They've kept the
So they've
culture
kept
on,
up that.
both cultures,
So
both
that
US and
is,
India,
yeah,
very,
so
very
that
well.
is nice. And I would say music is like a great thing, which is actually brought in everything together. So just not to digress, but just wanted
But
to,
again, to come back to what happened with our New Jersey to Michigan story, he bought a house. We came here for housewarming, fell in love with this beautiful place. And by then, we started talking to Shriya's family, that is her parents,
yeah.
who lived in a beautiful subdivision. And they invited us to stay with them while Athreya's house warming was being prepared and such. And we loved the subdivision. And thanks to Shreya's dad, who pushed us to see few homes here, which was for sale. There were some open houses. We did see, made an
And
offer.
and also one more thing I want to add, because his what also happened was 2020. This happened in 2020.
Yeah.
During
Okay,
COVID.
COVID.
we were just COVID, right? So I think there are a lot of pluses and minuses what happened during COVID. One plus was like you could work remotely,
Yeah.
right? And
That was a big
especially, I
plus.
think it was a big plus for the IT sector, right?
I was already working from
Yeah,
home because
for
our
him it
headquarters
was,
was in
yeah.
California, whereas
So
she.
I was basically working because, and one another big thing was for me, it was like, it was my dream that, I work in New York. So which was like very important for me because I wanted, and I also worked in Bombay. Like this is
Yeah.
initially going back, just so it was for me, it was always like, what it means to work in a busy place, like, in the morning. So these are some things which you aspire, maybe small things. But I used to come back and, we used to have this conversation. And I think that's one thing probably which is gone to my, propel my younger son to actually do his degree there in New York. But that's something which was like, that city brings in a lot of vibes.
Vibes.
Yes.
I
Vibes.
mean, it's like, anyone can kind of make it, be it big, small, people are very open. You kind of see the small joints, you kind of enjoy the aroma of coffee or early morning thing. People are doing their work and everything, and you go through the bridges and everything. So I always used to want to work there, which is really great. So did that for like, 7 years after coming back. So I was like, okay, now I think it's time. Like, I was like, okay, what do we do next, right? So I think it was like to the 2020, it all became, working
Came to
from
standstill.
home. It
Yeah.
was it was really a painful time at that point in time, but some pluses also happened at the same time. So that was the time when Atreya bought the house here. We came down here, we looked at, and he had just started his relationship with Shreya. We met their parents, and we were like, okay. For him also, it was like he can actually do business here. And we were all like, okay, we can all work remotely. Uh, why not we
Moved to Michigan.
move to Michigan? But the only thing was Aryan, because he was now in his 11th, right? 10th, 10th,
Yes.
10th. And he was in a great school district, a very competitive school district in New Jersey. And he was all like, he was doing very well. He had a great set of friends. He was like, okay,
Another change in
another
life.
change in life. And you will not believe, we drove. It was an 8.5 hour journey for us. We always love to drive,
Two
right?
cars.
2 cars. But while going back, Atreya was here, and we made a decision. We said, okay, let's put the foundation. What's going to happen if we move to Michigan? So, Daddy, are you okay? Mommy, you can work remotely. Okay, let us see how this is going to work. Atreya, you are going to be here. Aryan, for you, it's going to be the school, right? School does play because ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th is very important for them to go into the next
Awesome.
stage. So here is we said we told Aryan, see, it's actually good because you have a great set of friends, you understand how things are there, but you will build a new set of friends here. Look at the additions, right? And then you are going to move into a different place. So, but then we said, okay, we'll leave it to you. We don't want to force you, but at the end of it, it's very important. So that's how the whole journey started. Yeah.
I'm just curious. I know it's even a transition from New Jersey to Detroit or some Michigan. I know it plays a big role, as you said, like with the high school kid, for someone to move with such a good friends and school, college. So I know, I think it's a big transition. So just curious, like, so what decision? And I'm guessing he was okay to move. That's what I think eventually happened. But how did he
Yeah.
adjust? I know even within the state, but I'm just curious because it's a different period in the high school, right? I mean, when they
Oh,
are
yeah.
with friends and
See, by then
Absolutely.
he's seen us as parents who take these calls, adventurous calls, I must say. In his own way, he was probably mentally prepared, but yes, there was
There was some,
slight hesitation,
yeah,
resistance. But he said one biggest bonus for him is he could stay closer to Anna. That is his
yeah,
brother.
the
brother.
very good mentor. We as parents is one, but even today, he has played a fantastic mentor role as an elder brother who's 9 years apart. Atre and Aryan get along very well. Earlier, it was over phone or video call, but here the bonus, the carrot is always like how when we went to India, parents and uncles, aunts, or cousins were the carrots to dangle. Here it is his own wonderful sibling and soon to be sister-in-law. They're all right here. And with the limitation that he did say that, like, okay, I'll miss my friends and I miss my beautiful school. But yes, I've already tried this going to Bangalore, coming back to New Jersey, and yes, let us give it a shot. He was again like his mom, he too bent backwards, made it happen, and then he agreed to
Yeah.
all our decisions.
And I think, yeah, we see, and also to 2020, if you actually remember,
This-
all the schools were online,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So,
It worked.
so one, I think part of it worked for him. Like the first 6 months, he did all the classes online, so he was able to kind of understand how it was. But yes, he missed the
Socializing.
interaction and everything. But after that, the next year, he started going to school.
Either ways, even in New Jersey, by then, as
It,
Rangan
it
mentioned,
was it was
COVID had
COVID
hit
had
and
hit.
then the lockdown had happened. He had stopped going to school, but it was all on remote online school.
So I
To
think
some
that
extent, he
propelled
gotten
him.
used to stay
Yeah.
at home with us, attend schools, etc. So transitioning to Michigan in its own way, it was what I call a blessing in disguise. Though it would have been nice if it was for a good reason than COVID, but there are certain pluses with
I
COVID
think a
happening.
big plus was for him, yes, he could kind of come back here, relate to a different demographic,
yeah,
because Michigan is an auto town, right? But there is a lot of different kind of
He loves
history,
cars, so
a different kind of history to this place, right? And then the teachers, they bring in different kind of, it's always about different things what you look
values,
around, right?
values.
If you look at New Jersey, New York, yes, it's very
Finance
near to
driven.
finance driven and everything. Whereas here you have this geopolitical, and always from a long time, I think Aryan was very interested. He loved history, right? He loves and I kind of, and over a period of time for me, I keep telling, if I have to do, I will go back and do probably something in economics because that's something
Or
which just
history.
fascinates me today to look at all these things, right? Economics is such a fantastic. So we keep talking about this. So for Aryan, I think that was probably a big plus. He came here, he started talking to a lot of people, a lot of different clubs, a lot of different ways in how, and he improved. He loves to write. He loves to write. So, and his other skills really improved. And I think that was a big plus. And guess what he did? He's has a great set of friends here. And he introduced those friends to the New Jersey friends. And he makes it a point to make sure that, he gets everyone
Together.
together and then get that thing through. I think, see, that is something which is a great thing. So in hindsight, he says, oh, I think it was a great thing that we moved here because I could look at different facets, different perspectives, different things, and yet keep that thing on. And he spends a lot of time to have his connects. So, that's another very good thing, right? You have to put in from your side a good amount of time to have that connects. And I think he did that. And um,
Before we forget, Avinash, is another very imperative, important question.
what is it?
Is there a plan to go back to India?
No, no, let me just finish this. You can talk about that.
So there is. So is there something more you want to share?
Yeah, I just want to share. So basically, I think that was thing, and then I think somewhere the New York thing was in him. I wanted to just complete that.
Yeah.
So he kind of, wrote. He did a lot of things, and now he's actually studying in NYU. He's studying in New York University.
Back to New York.
Yes,
Back to New
yes, back
York.
to New
He's in
York.
Stern Business School.
He's in Stern Business
Yeah.
School. He wants to do something on, he's going to be majoring in business and political economy, which is his favorite thing, and then trying to work on that. But he's enjoying. I mean, I personally wanted him to look around those things because there's a lot to that city which teaches you a lot in life.
Absolutely.
So, great place, Michigan, and great. He had a great time for 5 years being with Anna. And my Atreya got married 2022, and we have a great family here. Our Sambandhis also stay very close by. So from their side, a great perspective and all. And now he is back to there. Now he is studying. Yeah. Now you can take over.
On that front, yes, again, yet another culprit being the moving experiences. Probably I should write a book on moving experiences for good, as in moving from one location to the other with good moving experiences psychologically and emotionally. So again, I started talking about very soon we would retire. Oh, I don't know when, but it is around the corner. Having done a fantastic career,
Yeah.
I am already talking. I say couple of years we'll move back, rather 2 years down the lane, 3 years down the lane to India. But she is insisting that this time I'll probably abide by her request. She says make it 4 years.
4 to 5 years, yeah.
4 years. It is. So there is a major plan happening that in 2028 we would return back to.
We would want to come back. The way we want to put it is, till now the primary focus, the primary thing was in the US, right? While our secondary home and everything was India. So maybe 4 to 5 years down the line, we want to make that the primary, and still we have to have our connects in the US
kids are
because
here.
kids are here, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, as one grows in age, maybe they would, as Nagesh started in the beginning, he said you would relate to a lot of things where you grew up, right? You would want to come back to that place. You would want to understand. And it's a great place, back in India and back, especially to go back to a place where you grew up, where you know things, where you can actually go back and give something else to the society there. So I think that is the calling, I would
That
say.
is the calling, and again, it's around the corner. But as Rangan rightly said, being global citizens,
Yeah, it's very
we'll
important.
call
Yeah.
India as our base going forward and keep coming back and forth to US as long as we have the strength and the wherewithal to
And have all the health.
health, and finances to
Yeah.
back us up by God's grace. That is the plan, and hopefully we'll be successful. And having said that, we have been doing a lot of international travels too. That will continue to happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's very important, right? I keep telling now. So after 5 years down the line, maybe you should be in a position just to say 2 months, let me go to a place. And we love to do the Airbnbs, right? So just stay in an Airbnb, just work as a localite, be a localite there, understand how they work, what they do, that's the kind of vacation which we want to basically, try doing it, right? Any place. And today also India has a lot of things to
Beautiful
offer.
places.
We can do
And again,
that in
Rangan and I
everything.
started venturing a lot of travel within India too,
Yeah.
because there's so much to see. One of the most colorful, vibrant, beautiful places. So we have been doing it.
Yeah, I think as you mentioned early on in the show, right, about the journey
Yes.
and not the destination, and just being, it's the perspectives, it's how they solve in that. It just gives a different experience from the travel. I mean, I think it's so much to underline that. I mean, it's not just go and visit, it just be the localite to understand it if possible, which just expands your thought process and, the perspectives quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, just curious, like why retire or why settle? Like after retirement, why make India as your main primary, and then America as secondary? Just curious. Any particular reasons? Is just love of mother country, or is just any specific reasons? Because you've been
Very
there,
much.
you seen something, and you've been back. You enjoyed the life in both ways. So still, like you're starting again. So why, why to start from scratch again? Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely, Avinash. To be very frank, yes. You have covered already in your question almost everything what we wanted to share. One is yes, being adventurous and call it that every 7 year itch. Here it is a beautiful itch which we would enjoy to experience it. As we already mentioned, motherland being motherland, we love the place, and we are still fortunate that like my mother is pretty healthy. She's there, and her dad is still here and healthy. At 91, he is by God's grace doing very well, and his blessings. And my mother is 86, doing by God's grace fantastic. And my siblings are still there. Rangan's sibling, though, is in North Carolina. He and my co-sister, who knows, they would follow with us. They will also come. So we will continue to probably rebuild. That's exactly why we mentioned.
And our also, not to forget, our friends whom we brought everyone
Oh,
to
yes.
the US, they're all coming
They
back.
also will.
They also will come back.
And there is another
So,
extra carrot being dangled is our Samandhi also is looking to come to Bangalore,
back to
which is
Bangalore.
not even their home ground. So there is so much to it. And to answer why, love for motherland, oh, without stressing, mentioning, yes, we indeed actually say that like we love our motherland, keeping our karma bhumi also, we take it as a fantastic place to be. But retire, are we gonna retire fully? We don't know. It We'll prolong as long as we could. One, because my company is still on, and
Yeah.
she enjoys working. She's
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah.
fantastic career woman. She
Otherwise, he'll be in trouble. If
I know.
I don't work.
No, no, and other thing is, even today she works like as if she's a beginner or a fresher. Starts her morning at 6 o'clock, goes on till 6:30, 7 o'clock. I sometimes get upset, and then I switch on Netflix saying that a good movie is happening if you don't join me. So that's when she calls it a day after finishing her work, wraps up at 7:30 in the evening, and then joins me. But again, having said that, we want to go back, enjoy Bangalore for many reasons. One, uh, because motherland, parents being around, family being there, and food is something which we love, Indian food and Bangalore food especially. Plus weather, unbeatable even today, I would say. Best place in terms of weather, irrespective of whether it is summer, winter, or spring. Bangalore continues to be fabulous, though it has taken a beating compared to what it was in 80s or 90s. It still is decent enough. Having traveled to quite a few countries, Bangalore still is holding that way.
Yeah.
We love that. So going back, we are scaling down for sure in terms of size of living or other doing. But having said that, we want to travel more in India too. There's so much to see. We will continue to do that. And the friends, what Rangan was mentioning, and the Samandis, if they all were to be coming to India, man, we'll have another gala time in our, don't know if I should be calling it as a last innings or.
I don't know. You never know, Avinash. You
Yeah.
never know.
We're not
Yeah.
that old yet. We want to call ourselves a still young by heart. The gray should not hurt, but we want to.
But I want to add like two or three more reasons, right, to what Nagesh basically added. I think one thing is India is also changing. I
Oh,
think today
yes.
it has a very different vibe. If you actually look at it, when we came in 1990s to when we moved in 2007 to what has happened today in 2024. And as we are all today, I think, global citizens, right? And if we are there today and our children are here, we would probably be in a good position to talk to them about different things, right? And that's very important. As a family, I think it's very important for us to also keep that, the conduit, the thing between here and there. Because at the end of it, I think you have to have some kind of a culture bonding. At the end of it, that is the one which kind of, holds
Force
you
you.
together. And there's a lot today, because to be very honest, when we grew up, we did a lot of things just for, okay, karta hai, okay, we'll do this. But today, I think you look at the inner meaning
The
of it,
purpose
right?
is
The
much
purpose is different, right? So I think it's important for us to realize that too, right? I think probably, can't you do that sitting in the US? You can certainly do that. It's not like you cannot do that. Moving back, yes, as I said, there are all those pluses. And also looking at, we feel that from a health perspective, right? Health perspective. There are a lot of other things like you have Ayurveda, you have homeopathy, a lot of organically grown things around there,
very valid
right?
point.
I think that is one of the things. Being here today, you will not. Today, US also is having a lot of different things other than allopathy and everything. But there, I think those are some things which are time tested, right? So you have a lot of different options. And the other biggest thing is I am looking forward because we are going to, as I said, we're going to scale down. We want to move into an apartment. One very important thing is we always need to be surrounded with people.
Yep.
I mean, that is, I think, no matter what, right? You need to have a good set of people, a nice routine, and especially seeing our own parents today aging, right? And touch wood, they have found their perfect things to do, right? They spend few 2 hours in this, and my dad still does consulting. He has people who work in home. That's because he's built that for the last 40, 50 years, right? It will just not come like this, right? It just doesn't come like you go there and then you do something. So I think that itself takes a time. So if we are going to be there, we want to just build something, we want to do something. I think this is the right time for us to do, and we still have the energy, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, it's done. So maybe 7 years down the line, I don't know, but we want to remain people who want to
Agile.
be flexible and
Agile.
agile today in this agile thing. So
No,
that's
that's a
how
very
we look
valid
at it.
point, as Rangan
Yeah.
said. While we still have the what do you call the energy, the wherewithal to run around, we want to enjoy India still. So not just probably career would to some extent take a back seat, but it won't completely come to a grinding halt.
Never. Yes.
It
And
won't, and it should not.
it should not. Yeah.
And I always advise, at least the younger generation now being almost a baby boomer, don't say I'm done with career or doing something. One has to be occupied so that we remain young, both by age, by energy, by the thought.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that we'll continue doing it.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, I just want to add one more thing, right? So with all these moves happening back and forth and back and forth, I think one, if I would say one thing which is very important is career is one thing, but I think having your own things like your own talent, that always should be there with you, right? Because at some point in time, that is a passive piece, right? Which will actually help you in your older age, in your retirement,
Yeah.
because it could be like music, it could be art, it could be something. This is something which you have to always keep at the back of your mind, even when you are in your prime, in your 20s, in your 30s, or something like that, because you cannot pick up your talent or your thing which you have left, like, 15 years ago, 30 years ago, and all of a sudden say, oh, I'm going to do this. It'll never happen until unless you just keep it somewhere, maybe it's in the background,
Active.
and then just work on that. I think that's something which is I mean, when we came to US, we saw that, a lot of people, it's career is one piece, but they do a lot of other things around.
Oh, there's so much to learn
There's
here.
so much to do. Like, for instance, you go to Home Depot I mean, you will actually see people coming there. They may be doing something like a finance something, but
Yeah.
they actually are working, doing woodworking projects.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it keeps them very agile in a different way because their passion is that. Right. So building even that passive income, even objectively building a passive income and doing your main thing, I think that is something which we really learn
No,
here.
as a matter of
Yeah.
fact, where you picked that very, very well, because friends in India, we always had this what you call a tendency wherein certain work we can't do. We offload it to somebody else, whereas certain basic handyman kind of work, certain upkeep of your own home, we can always learn. That
It,
doesn't mean we should take away the job from a real needy there. We should keep that going. But also, the demographics in India is changing slowly, wherein people are moving from the base level job to the higher, and there is nothing wrong in taking up certain carpentry or certain other work. It could be even gardening, etc. By ensuring that the real needy is given the job, we also should be equally occupied and then do. Which in America we have learned. I'm sure you lived long enough here, Ravinash, in the US, and you know how much it matters to do your own work.
Yes, it does.
Doing laundry to the vacuum cleaning to what do you call cooking.
Okay. So what a beautiful story. Like I just have one question. Again, you mentioned about a lot of your friends, the good friends that you made in India, they also moved back. So they are also part of this journey. So if we can generalize, is there a theme or is there something, I know everybody's story is unique, everybody's circumstances are unique. I'm just curious because this is also very valuable information from you. I mean, if there's a general trend or a generalized thing that you can comment on that, because of they lived in US for some time. I mean, at least a decade or more. They also went back to India, spent quite some time there, and they for some reason decided to move back, which is the most common reason. Like, why did they move, or like what made them move? Again, I know I just was looking for a generalized. I mean, if there is anything that you can share there as a
So,
general trend, and you also
sure.
mentioned they might be moving back, which is okay. I think but that I'm curious on that. If you can comment on that.
Sure. Again, not to sound stereotypical, but most of us, in general, our lives revolve around family, friends, etc. So, at least going by what we hear from our fellow friends and some family members, story is more or less the same. They all moved to India. One is to continue building their
And
career
being
and be
close to
close
the
to their
parents.
family, parents,
Parents.
and their respective relatives or the a closely knit family. Similar, during the time where kids are ready to get into, say, undergrad or a master's program, most of us returned back. Again, not to undermine India. India has great schools in engineering and or other non-engineering schools, art and such. But still, sometimes being exposed, which is what both Rangan and I always tell, even within our next generation kids, please study outside, not necessarily only in India. Study in India too, but keep that exposure on so that one, you learn a lot, you become more practical in life, you learn something different than what you really learn in India. Because certain schooling or rather the approach to teaching itself here is much different compared to what India is. Both have great pluses. There is nothing that we should look down upon, etc. So these friends, as you wanted to know, they also more or less, when we hear them out, it's a similar story that when their kids were ready to come down during undergrad, or some of them actually felt better opportunities during their heydays when they're in 30s and 40s. They returned back. Now it is more or less the same time. Their parents are still healthy enough, and it's a time to go spend time with them when it matters as far as they are concerned. Plus, of course, now kids are ready to have their own journey and have another
Yeah.
story to tell, and they can continue living in US, Europe, or
Yeah.
global,
Yeah,
or if
exactly.
they prefer to also join with us to India, so be it. We'll
Yeah.
be happy. But
No, it's it.
here,
Yeah.
here independently, sorry, I'll
Yeah.
have
No,
you.
no. Good, good.
So independently, friends also have the same thought, keeping that love for their homeland, motherland. They also want to come to Bangalore or Hyderabad or to Mumbai, Delhi, or other places, and still keep the touch with US because their kids are obviously settled here.
Yeah.
So similar story, at least going by what we hear, the pattern seems more or less the same. But again, end of the day, most of us have realized that like we should not stagnate in one place and then miss out on others.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wanted to say something?
No, no, I just wanted to say that, especially our what is it, our generation, I keep telling Nagesh, it's a sandwich generation, right? Because we are all economic nomads,
Oh yeah.
very, very truly we are economic nomads. And we came into this country in to get good jobs, to basically have a better life in terms of uh, you don't have to like really earn a lot, but you can have a good life. You don't need to be like a billionaire, multi-millionaire, but still you can have a good life in terms of a nice home, bringing up your kids in a nice environment and everything. So those were the aspirations. And then now we want to actually continue the same thing, but probably it's like we want to now it's not like through this journey we've always been with our parents, right? But our parents, that's what I keep telling. It was so nice that our parents never put an embargo saying that, hey, you cannot go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If they had told us, nay, 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 you be here with us, we probably wouldn't have had so much, things. So in a similar way, we don't want to, tell the same thing to our kids, right? We will be there when you really need our help or whatever it is. But at the same time, I think now it's like, okay, they'll also probably look forward to, okay, if you are here, it's going to be nice. We can actually, it's not going to be a phone call. It's not going to be a WhatsApp. It's probably you're going to be there. You're going to have a lot of this thing. So I think that is something which is also telling us like, okay, nice time, you go back. I think that generally happens. I think that's at least what we have heard in our own circle.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, let's scale down here, let's scale down there, but let's make this very important. And health is on our side. Let's go back, spend some time there, because kids now they have a foundation. That's very important, because you have kids, you have to make sure that you give your 150% to them. And once you feel that, okay, it's done, then it is left to them. They will do their things. They will come up, and Anglish said they'll have a story of their own. They have to build stories
Oh
of
yeah.
their own, right? And they have to look at it. So yeah, just wanted to kind of add that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as kid story is concerned, now they'll make the call whether to keep switching every 7 years or stay 70 full years in one place.
Yeah.
It could be that, oh my God, I'm done.
Done.
I've done 7 years traveling from my parents. I will decide to be here. It could be that, nothing wrong in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Thank you so much. What a beautiful story. You both were amazing in narrating the entire, like the chapters of the journey, right? And with such a details, like, some of these things are not so appreciated until you give those specific details. And
Yeah.
and just so much thankful and for the way you narrate the story, for your awesome journey, exploring and how you raise the kids and how you had the strong foundation and how you see the life in the future. I mean, as the journey continues. So with that, thank you so much for your time, for narrating the story. I'm so sure this would be so valuable to a lot of people, and I'm glad to have you on the show.
Avinash, first of all, thanks to you. You created a beautiful platform for people. Really, this is going to help quite a lot, not necessarily our stories alone. I'm sure you have your own stories. I'm sure there are a few others who have narrated similar or probably a different stories. But thanks to you that you invited, you reached out to us. I think what the last 1 year since we have been in touch, you connected and then gave us an opportunity to share our stories. I hope we did not bore or drag it too long. And again, we can go on and on. So, but thank you. I really appreciate it. Good luck to your channel. Good luck to your podcast. And we enjoyed sharing our stories with you. And then thank you so much again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Avinash. Yeah, I just want to take a few minutes. Yeah, it's been amazing, talking to you, and wonderful. And as Nagesh said, yeah, we have lots to kind of, exchange. We can even go to a lot of details. We've got fantastic things, but maybe keep it for another day when we meet you in person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's thank you so much for giving us a platform to basically air out our thoughts. Yeah. Yeah,
No,
and very good
definitely.
luck.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be so much valuable for a lot of people. And once again, thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
You
Avinash.
too.
Again, before we conclude, if you happen to be in Michigan or if you visit US, please come
Oh,
visit us
yes.
before we come back to Bangalore.
Yeah, for
Yes, yes,
sure.
please, please. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us on this insightful journey of Desi Return. If you enjoyed this episode and want to explore more stories and expert advice, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts and experiences. By the way, check out the links in the description below for our Facebook group and social media for updates and engaging discussions as well as connecting with fellow Desi Returners. Thank you once again, and until next time, may your Desi Return journey be filled with joy, growth, and endless possibilities.